All right, so today we're really diving into something fascinating, even a little bit mysterious, you could say.
Oh, yeah.
It's a deep dive into a specific aspect of Shabbat observance.
Okay.
It's called Moksha.
I've heard of it.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to share what you know with our listeners because
Sure.
it's a concept that at first glance, it might seem kind of arbitrary or maybe even a little bit like, why?
Yeah.
But as we dig into it, we start to see this incredible depth, this cultural, philosophical, really, really fascinating side to it.
Right.
And it really makes you think.
For sure.
So, just to kind of set the stage for our listeners who might not be as familiar with Shabbat, it's the Jewish Sabbath, the day of rest, spiritual reflection.
Right, a time to kind of disconnect from the everyday.
Exactly. Now imagine this. Imagine being prohibited, and I mean prohibited, from using or even touching certain objects.
Wow.
For a whole day, a whole 24 hours, that's Moksha.
That's Moksha, that's right.
So I'm already intrigued. I don't know about you.
I am too.
But I think for the benefit of our listeners, let's start with you giving us a nice, clear definition.
Okay.
What is Moksha?
So Moksha, it really means set aside. It refers to these objects, these items that we consciously set aside on Shabbat.
Okay, so give me an example. What kind of things are we setting aside?
All right, so imagine a spectrum. Yeah. On one end, you've got your weekday warriors, your tools, your work documents, even money. Things that just scream weekday, those are like the poster children of Moksha.
They're off limits.
Off limits, designated set aside for the entirety of Shabbat.
Got it, okay.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum,
yeah,
you have things that enhance the spirit of Shabbat, your prayer books, Shabbat candles, items that really nurture that spiritual reflection and connection that we're seeking.
They bring the holiness of the day to life in a way.
Exactly. They help us inhabit that sacred space.
Okay, so no hammering away at that home project or, obsessively checking your stock portfolio.
Definitely not.
But we're a little bit practical here. What about something like, let's say, a pen?
Oh, okay.
Because, inspiration can strike at any moment.
It can.
Right? What if you want to jot down a poem or even just a grocery list?
A grocery list.
Where does that fall on this spectrum of Moksha?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because a pen, in most cases, would be considered Moksha. Its primary function isn't really aligned with the spirit of Shabbat.
Interesting.
But here's the thing. It's not about these, arbitrary restrictions.
Well, I was going to say, what's the difference between,
right.
writing a grocery list and,
exactly.
lighting the candles? I don't know. It's
right, and that's what's so fascinating. Even the permitted objects, they have specific guidelines.
Okay.
So, for example, you can move a lamp on Shabbat to, let's say, access food.
Right.
But, and this is a big but, only if your intention is to use the food, not the light.
Wow. So it all comes down to intention.
Exactly. It's about aligning your actions, even the seemingly mundane ones,
right,
with the spirit of the day.
Fascinating.
And, the source text, it beautifully connects this idea of intention to the concept of Kodesh.
And Kodesh means?
Holiness, separateness.
Okay.
It's about recognizing the inherent holiness of Shabbat and creating that separation from the ordinary.
So Moksha is almost like a physical manifestation of that boundary, that separation.
Yes, it's a tangible reminder that we're shifting gears.
Yes.
Stepping into a different road of being.
It's like stepping into a different world for a day, a world that's set apart.
Exactly, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It's transformative.
It really makes you think, because even if we don't observe Shabbat in the traditional sense.
Sure.
Could we all benefit, maybe take a leaf out of this book?
I think so.
And incorporate a little bit of Moksha into our lives?
Absolutely.
Whether it's, designating a drawer,
right,
a corner of the desk, even just an hour a day as off limits.
Yes.
To the usual distractions,
I love that idea.
Like a digital detox.
Exactly. A Moksha for the modern age.
Right.
It's about creating that space, that intentionality.
Exactly.
Regardless of how you choose to do it.
It's a powerful thought to leave us with today.
It is.
So the next time you feel pulled in a million directions, remember the concept of Moksha?
Yes.
Sometimes setting things aside, even temporarily, can be the most enriching choice we make.
Beautifully said.
All right. Until next time.
Thank you.